In a follow-up to a couple of our previous videos, Donald Trump openly clashed with reporters at the press conference he co-hosted with Viktor Orban on the issue of affordability, which of course led Democrats to a crushing blue wave election victory on Tuesday, and also something that Trump is simultaneously trying to co-opt for his own purposes, while also losing his temper at people who dare question his affordability record. Well, an NBC reporter dared fact-check him on a matter of affordability, causing him to lash out at her and refuse to answer any questions from her employer, NBC, for the remainder of the press conference. But Trump's messaging on this is so atrocious that even a conservative National Review writer is calling him out. So he's in deep shit. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to play from Trump regarding this affordability issue, which is continuing to plague him. Let's start with this.
Costs are very low. Our general costs are very low. And I just saw that Walmart came out with a statement last night. They've done it for many years, that Thanksgiving this year will cost 25% less than Thanksgiving last year under Sleepy Joe Biden. So that's a big difference. That's a big difference. 25% less Thanksgiving. And I think that's a very good chart. They include everything that you need for Thanksgiving. So it's 25% less this year than it was last year. And that's true. That's emblematic of the rest of prices.
So this is his best version of Mamdani or Spanberger or Mikey Sherrill, right? Like, just things are cheaper, 25% cheaper, Walmart. Well, again, we fact-checked that to hell and back. Well, an NBC reporter dares make the mistake of fact-checking Trump on this, and he loses his shit.
Product, the Walmart Thanksgiving meal,
Yeah.
and it is cheaper, but it also contains less. As affordability,
Well, I haven't heard that. You're telling me. Who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with NBC News, sir.
Fake news. NBC. You're fake news. What a NBC's gone down the tubes along with most of the rest of them.
If I ask, why do you think there's such a disconnect between the economy that you're describing day to day and the way many Americans say they're feeling and they're concerned about?
Well, they feel better about our country right now, other than the shutdown, obviously, which is caused by the Democrats, could be ended by the Democrats in 2 minutes.
So he's mad as hell that she provided the same fact check that, again, not just liberal and progressive commentators such as myself have been doing, but also, as you'll see in a moment, the conservative National Review. He doesn't like that. How dare you fact check me to my face in front of my friend, man? You're dissing me in front of my friend. What's up with that? But it's true. It is true that when Trump is touting this announcement by Walmart, it is hella misleading. Fewer items and cheaper quality items as well. No wonder it's 25% cheaper, man. So then NBC comes back to him with another question, and because he was pissed off and humiliated by the reporter, he was like, no more questions from NBC.
NBC, fake news, I'm not taking you. Go ahead. NBC, fake news, I'm not taking you. Go ahead.
He's so mad. He's so mad. How dare you point out when I'm wrong? You can't do that. Victor, do you let the press point out when you're wrong in your country? No, he does not. And that's desperately what Trump is trying to get us towards, a Hungary-style government where, the liberty of the media is significantly reduced, shall we say. But let's hear more of what Trump has to say on affordability.
Product, the Walmart Thanksgiving meal,
Yeah.
and it is cheaper, but it also contains less. As affordability,
Well, I haven't heard that. You're telling me. Who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with NBC News, sir.
Fake news. NBC. You're fake news. What a NBC's gone down the tubes along with most of the rest of them.
If I ask, why do you think there's such a disconnect between the economy that you're describing day to day and the way many Americans say they're feeling and they're concerned about?
Well, they feel better about our country right now, other than the shutdown, obviously, which is caused by the Democrats, could be ended by the Democrats in 2 minutes. They feel much better. We have more jobs. We just set a record on jobs. You do know that?
That's bullshit. They have not. He's been hemorrhaging jobs. Multiple downward revisions. I think at this point in his presidency, he's only presided over the creation of 500,000 jobs. And if you look at the monthly average, it's substantially by tens upon tens upon tens of thousands lower than President Biden's average monthly job creation. And that's with the Biden administration facing downward job revisions as well. Biden's record on jobs is objectively superior. And when he talks about everyone's feeling better except for the shutdown, No, man. Look at the polls. Even right-wing pollsters like Rasmussen and others, RMG, they have you hemorrhaging support on the economy and inflation. No, people think you suck.
We have more investment in our country than any country in history. We're over $18 trillion as of this moment, and we're going to be maybe at 20 or 21 trillion by the time I finish up my first year. And there's been no country, China, no country in the world that's done anywhere even close to that number. Your friend Biden, as an example, in 4 years was less than $1 trillion.
So again, he's just full of shit. He's hoping people don't fact check him, and people should fact check him, but unfortunately, they don't. They should. Donald Trump has not secured $21 trillion or $17 trillion or $8.8 trillion, which was the last official White House sentiment, because again, it included things like trade arrangements and trade deals. And again, I use the example, let's say that I'm going to trade you my iPhone right here for $100, $500. If we make that deal and you give me $500 in exchange for the iPhone, you did not invest $500 into me. You did not give me $500. You traded it. And Trump is, again, just, he's either too stupid to grasp that, or he's hoping that everyone watching is too stupid to grasp it. And unfortunately, you know, reporters are not fact-checking him in real time the way that they should.
Yesterday that Walmart said that the Thanksgiving was 25% more expensive under Biden. That's a big, to me, that's a big number, because Walmart's respected. I mean, Walmart is Walmart, and, you know, they're giving you prices.
That is true. Walmart is Walmart. What a tautology.
So that would mean that the whole series of pricing and costs, you know, the groceries and everything else, it was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. The Democrats are good at a few things: cheating on elections and conning people with facts that aren't true.
The irony of this asshole saying that, Donald Trump saying that anybody is good at conning and stealing. Trump was the one who tried to steal the 2020 election, and he cons people all the time. He's the most successful political con artist we have ever seen. But again, he has been told and he has accepted that affordability was the successful through line that united Zoran Mamdani in New York, Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, and he's trying to co-opt it to his own ends while simultaneously getting super triggered at anybody who presses him on the fact that his administration has not been affordable.
Category. So when you have lower energy prices, which I think you admit we do substantially, that means everything else. So we are the victors on affordability. But if I watched that election, which I was not much involved in, I didn't support Virginia, the candidate, didn't do a lot of support for the other candidates. They asked me about Cuomo, and I said, well, it's a question, do you want a thug or do you want a communist? I mean, that was my response. So I wasn't involved in that stuff too much. But I will say this, if you look at affordability, which they campaigned on, they lied, because they talked about, oh, prices are up. No, prices are down.
No, they are up. And again, we'll get to that. Conservative writer at the National Review is going to be talking about that in just a second. Don't take it from me. I'm just a libtard. What do I know? Right? It is up under Trump, and Trump is just hoping he can gaslight people into believing otherwise. But it's so funny how so friggin' defensive he is about this. One more clip, and then we'll get to the National Review.
They talked about that. They said, oh, I don't want to talk about affordability. The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe Biden. And the prices are way down. Carol?
No, the polls don't reflect that at all. Sorry, the polls don't reflect that. The polls say, most Americans say that things are more expensive now under you than they were under Biden, and they punish Biden for how expensive things were under him. Now, but again, don't take it from me. Donald, if you're watching, please be sure to like and subscribe. Take it from the National Review, even more right-wing than the Wall Street Journal. So I think it's Jim Garrity. Damn, I'm good. Okay. As he points out, no, Mr. President, the affordability issue is not dead. On Tuesday, voters in 2 states and New York City sent a clear message that they're concerned about the cost of living and affordability. Since then, Trump has energetically responded with a new, clear message. There is no problem with affordability. On True Social, Trump wrote, 2025 Thanksgiving dinner under Trump was 25% lower than 2024 Thanksgiving dinner under Biden. According to Walmart, my costs are lower than the Democrats on everything, especially oil and gas. So the Democrats' affordability issue is dead. Stop lying. Trump is referring to what Walmart calls its inflation-free Thanksgiving meal. The problem is that this year's version of the Walmart Thanksgiving meal includes considerably less food than last year's. Here's the 2024 version, which the company boasted, quote, features 29 items and serves 8 people for less than $7 per person. Goes through the whole list. He itemizes it for us. Here's the 2025 version, touted as, quote, a one-click basket serving 10 people for less than $40. Going through here. The pecan pie, whipped topping, mini marshmallows, muffin mix, poultry seasoning, chicken broth, sweet potatoes, onions, and celery are off the menu. Baby carrots were added. Once you see the changes, it's not so surprising that it costs less and certainly doesn't feel like a comparable amount of food for the cost. On Thursday, Trump insisted, quote, we have much better, lower prices than they do, and we're only going to have one thing, beef, because the cattle ranches are doing well. We're going to bring the beef prices down, and they understand that, even if we have to help them out. But the beef is also not a big difference, but every price is down. The biggest price is energy, and it goes on and on and on like that. As you probably already know, it is not accurate that, quote, every price is down. As of October 26th, the price of a pound of chicken breast is down slightly from 1 year ago. A loaf of bread is flat, but a dozen eggs are 24 cents more expensive. A pound of bacon is 44 cents more expensive. 32 ounces of orange juice is 76 cents more expensive, and a pound of ground beef is 84 cents more expensive. Finally, Trump insisted that on inflation, quote, we're at a perfect number. The most recent consumer index prices show 3% increase year over year. For much of the past year, it's been between 2 and 3%, but closer to 3 than 2 and above the Fed's target rate of 2%. While 3% inflation is considerably better than the 9% inflation peak of the Biden era, 3% inflation can indeed steadily eat away at your purchasing power. As a few weeks ago, the Wall Street Journal editorial board asked whether the Trump team was satisfied with 3%, and warned, quote, at some point you have to admit that all these add up to a persistent inflation problem. At a 3% inflation rate, the value of a dollar today would be 73.74 cents in 10 years. At 2%, that dollar is worth 82 cents in 10 years. So again, Jim Garrity at the National Review is like, Trump, you're full of shit. This is a problem. You're lying your ass off, and goes through and debunks the very persistent lie that Trump keeps peddling out. Affordability is an issue. It is a winning issue, at least at the moment, electorally for Democrats, just as it was in 2024 for Trump. Right now, the tables have turned. The script has been flipped, and Trump is desperate to try to flip it back, but at the same time getting pissed off and throwing tantrums when people question him about affordability. And that's the mutually exclusive position in which he finds himself. He wants to fix the problem, but he's pissed off and lashing out at anybody who points out that there is a problem. So really unworkable at the moment. It's political quicksand. But it's funny that he's lashing out at reporters for daring to fact check him. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.